Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of my Q&A show. Today I have Ramone with me, Ramone Pippins. I'm super excited about having him on this show because he's one of my closer friends. I know him very well, and just like the last two people I've had, Mike Trotter on the first episode, then we had Michael Sullivan last week. His story is awesome, and the cool thing about this Q&A show is the ability to step into somebody's life and learn about their story and find out a little bit more about them that you normally wouldn't get from an everyday conversation. So without further ado, I want to jump right into it today. Ramone, tell us who you are. Tell us a little bit about where you're from. Tell us what you do personally and what you're trying to accomplish from there. So let's get to it.
My name is Ramone Pippins. I was born in San Diego, California in '88. Now I'm a personal trainer at Gold Gym Express and Normal. And pretty much what I'm working towards, my ultimate goal is to have my own gym and be able to help pretty much a community of people, mainly involving like drug and rehab type of people. Had a little experience with that, so it's understanding what people are going through at that point in time in their life when they do hit rock bottom or they discover something about themselves. It's educating them to let them know that they're not bad.
And how long have you been a trainer for?
3 years.
3 years, and you said that you want to help people with alcohol and rehab.
Yeah, but pretty much use the gym. I had that issue. A couple years ago, and it affected a lot in my life, and I didn't know how to control it. I thought it was fine. Everybody does this. Everybody goes out and gets drunk. But I was making a lot of poor decisions, and then it led up to me, legally getting in trouble. And that for me was my window for me to get through and get help.
Awesome.
Because I didn't want to do it on my own.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely. All right. And that you just talked about how you've been through some legal trouble and you've had some things happen the last few years, especially with the alcohol. But before we get to any of that, let's find out a little bit about your backstory a little bit. So, you said you're from California?
Yeah.
Right. Tell me a little bit about that. When did you move here to Illinois, and what was that like?
Moved here when I was 7 when my mom got married to my stepdad. But I mean, it was cool. It was warm weather. It wasn't none of this Illinois weather that we have now. But I mean, it was just, to me, what I remember the most was just simple stuff. We were poor, but my mom didn't really stress that out a lot. I thought we were fine. I thought everybody else lived like that. But she did little things to kind of show us, hey, there's something else better out there. We're not always going to be here. But I had a lot of her family down there from her side. They were all close, so we had family around. But moving here, it was kind of weird because I've never seen snow before, and didn't have anybody here. It was just literally my mom, my stepdad, my sister. Later, my brother came, and then my little sister. But it's just it's just weird doing that, making that transition, seeing how people live differently from the West Coast to the Midwest.
So what's different? What is different from East Coast to West?
I would say
I don't even know. If we're on either. We're like in the middle. So what was that? What's different?
For me, where I grew up, it was kind of more a hood. There was a lot of gang activity, but it was just how people carried themselves. We had more swag, I guess, than people here. But it was just that attitude. I've been told this since I was a kid. Like, it's just something different about me that I don't fit in here. From Cali, So, but it's. I think it's just a mindset overall, and you see that when you make trips. See how people live differently, how they might do something different from what you do, which I think is amazing because then you're able to see that even though we're so different, we're still kind of all alike. So
yeah, definitely. And so you said that it's just you carry yourselves differently.
Yeah.
You said you have a little more swag.
Yeah.
And you said you came here with your mom. What's her name?
Rosario. Yeah.
And what's she like?
She's a very short, beautiful woman, Hispanic, can cook her butt off, soul food and any type of food. But she's a very hard-working woman. She loves to help people no matter what. If she got $5 and you needed it and that was your last $5, she'd give it to you. I've learned a lot from her. People around this town, they know her. Oh, you're Rosario's son. Yeah. But it's.
So what does that mean? It says that she's very caring and she knows how to cook really well, and a lot of people know her. What does that mean?
To me, it kind of set an example of what I need to strive for. Because my mom always told me when I was younger, and even still to this day, I want you to be better than what I did. Because to me, she's at the top. She works at the courthouse. She's an interpreter. And she also works at a restaurant where she's a waitress. And again, it's still helping people out.
Yeah.
And I think that, that's her true calling. And she's always had it, and she instilled that in us as kids. And we're all like that.
So you said that she sets an example, and she instilled that into you when you were a kid. So what do you mean by that? Because that can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people.
She grew up in Mexico. She didn't have much schooling, but when she came here, she got her GED done. But she always stressed to us getting our education, taking advantage of what we have.
Okay.
She used to call us lazy because I didn't want to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, I don't feel like it. She goes, if I had the opportunity to go, I would go.
Mm-hmm.
And she came here illegally. And that was the thing. I got to experience that with her, and then I'm seeing she has her own child here that's able to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
So it was tough growing up because she didn't know how to get that passion out correctly. It always
What do you
came
mean
off.
by that?
I got whooped a lot.
Okay.
Because it was hard. She was a single mom for a couple years, and it was stressful. And you can, at that time, I didn't know. But it was just seeing how she was as a person, no matter what we were going through. It's what kind of stuck with me and still sticks with me.
So you said it didn't matter what you're going through. She's consistent. So
Yeah.
give me some examples. What does that mean?
To me, it was just everyday stuff. Like literally, it was wake up. We didn't know if we would have food the next day. My mom was always focused. Okay, I want you to go to school, learn everything you can, so you're not here struggling. And she would say like I am. And it's stuff that she still says to this day. I don't want you struggling like I am. And like I said, to me, I feel like the personal training came from her, how she raised me. And that's because when it comes to the clients, it's like you want to help them. You see things that they might not see, especially when it comes to when they look at themselves. They don't see the person that we see inside of them.
Yeah.
And again, that's where I got from my mom. It was just a lot of emotion, a lot of passion anytime she talked to us. Sometimes I thought it'd be a little bit too much, especially with the belt. Mexican moms, it's not a whooping, it's a beating that you get.
They ain't laying off on nothing.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. And I mean, that's where I got, to me, where I learned how to get tough skin, growing up that way. I'm not saying it was abusive, but it was something I'm glad that I had now. Back then, I'd be like every kid after you got whipped, go to your room. I hate her. Don't say nothing too loud, but it was just stuff like that I'm grateful for.
Yeah. So you learned from it. So this was back in California, and you learned these things pretty early on. What was it like coming from California over here to Illinois?
It was very weird. When I came here, it was in the middle of winter, and I had never seen snow before. I've seen ice cubes.
What was that like?
It sucked because I had shorts and a button-up on, a short sleeve button.
Probably didn't have a lot of cold weather, a lot of like sweatshirts and things like that.
No,
Okay.
No. But then that's when I met my grandmother from my stepdad side of the family, Miss Jeanette Joyce. She was awesome. Awesome lady.
So you stepdad.
Yeah.
And let's backtrack just a tad bit. Where does he come from? And
He was stationed. He was in the Navy. He was stationed in San Diego, a couple blocks away from where we lived at. And him and my mom, I don't know how they met, but they met. And
what was his name?
Lionel.
Lionel?
Yeah.
Okay.
When they met, I mean, it just kicked off. For me, I didn't grow up I grew up without my dad, so having that father figure step up, I was excited.
Yeah. And what was that like?
It was good. Starting off, taught me how to play football, catch and all that. Taught me how to be, sports, track and all that. He did a lot of that. But I learned a lot of stuff. I learned how to tie a tie. I watched him shave. I never knew what that was. I'm so fascinated.
Definitely eating now.
Yeah. But I mean, it was cool. He taught us a lot. He was very musically inclined, so he passed that on to us. But he saw that we had the gift naturally.
Okay.
And all my brothers and sisters, we all play some type of instrument. If not, maybe.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
Here with my mom and my stepdad. Well, me and my older sister, we have the same dad, but
What's your older sister's name?
Rihanna.
Rihanna. Okay.
Yeah. I have 2 sisters here and a brother here, and then I have 2 brothers and a sister, or 2 brothers, and a sister down south in South Carolina.
Okay.
So.
Now you left me a lot of things. You said you were past some musical gifts. What does that mean?
I played the violin starting in 2nd grade, and I just had an ear for music. I literally could listen to something and play.
I didn't even know you played music until recently. So that's awesome. How long have you been playing for? What do you play?
I play the violin. I've been playing for about 20 years now. But
you said you were musically inclined, but what got you into that?
They had an event at the junior high to where younger kids can come in and test out the instruments and see what instrument they want to play next, or if they want to do that. I originally wanted to play the saxophone. I got told no. I kind of threw a fit. The lady told me to walk around. If I find something else, then that's fine.
Why do you think she said no?
It's all part of the plan.
Okay.
I think she saw something for me that I didn't know yet. So when I walked around, I heard a lady playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on the violin, and I literally was drawn to that because it's a little piece of wood. And you have a little bow with horsehair, and so much sound was coming out from that. I watched the lady very closely, you know, how she was doing, how she was moving, what her fingers were doing. And then when it came to my turn to pick up the violin, I started playing it. To me, and she looked at me, she said, I think this is for you.
Yeah.
Ever since then, like, I just took off. Fourth grade, got a scholarship, Pratt Foundation. And what it was pretty much me taking private lessons at Illinois Wesleyan. And I did that from fourth grade all the way through high school. Each year costs about close to almost $50,000 a year. But it was just one-on-one attention with a teacher, and they were literally just pushing you beyond what normal kids type of music you should be playing.
Okay.
Fifth grade, I'm over here playing Beethoven, Mozart, and all that. And it was.
That's crazy.
It was, because when I look back at it now, I'm just like, there was no way I was supposed to be able to do that. But it was, like I said,
Can you still play that today?
I'm a little rusty.
A little
okay. Rusty, but I mean, I play other instruments, a piano. I love the piano a little bit. It's every instrument's a different way to express yourself.
So what is it about the violin and being able to play? Like, what is it about that really like just hits home for you?
You have control. Because when I grew up, I didn't really have a lot of control.
What do you mean by that? So let's take a left turn here. So you say you didn't have a lot of control at home. What does that mean?
When I grew up, I was pretty much told, okay, this is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to like. No questions asked.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff, I felt like as a kid, I wasn't able to voice my opinion. Hey, this is what I want to get into. Okay. So with the violin, I was able to I can control it. I can make it sound however I want it to sound. And it was just knowing that I had that much power, and it didn't take much. It was literally just fingertips, and you were doing that with. Yeah. So that's what I love about the violin. You have to be very delicate with it, but you can project the loudest noise out.
Now you said you didn't have a lot of control at home.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
My stepdad was going through some stuff at that time, and it led to him drinking. He was an alcoholic, verbally abusive, sometimes physically. Grew up seeing him and my mom kind of do the same thing with each other. So for me, it was just kind of, my room was my safe haven. It was kind of like a prison at the same time. I got grounded a lot for things that, like not taking the trash out, grounded for 4 months. And it was literally, like, to me, I just felt like I was being picked on a lot. So having that chance with the violin to have something control of and express myself the way I wanted to, that was my outlet.
That's awesome.
Later got into football, fell in love with that too.
So you got into football? When did this happen?
That happened second grade. My stepdad, he had a friend, Coach Van. I still see him to this day. He coached for the Knockers. And he said, hey, why don't you bring your son out, let him see if he likes it or not. I was a little mama's boy, so I was kind of afraid and timid the first time. Got my bell rung, and sadly, that's what made me like it. The fact that you can get hit that hard, you get put on your back, but you can still get back up. And that's what kind of stuck with me with that. And then you also had that brotherhood with the guys you played with, because you're trusting that guy next to you to do his job so you don't get smacked.
So now, I mean, I kind of know what you mean by brotherhood. I play a lot of football, and I really enjoyed that growing up. I definitely relate to that, but I want to hear you talk about that. What do you mean by brotherhood?
It was just that sense of family. As I got older, especially going and playing at semi-pro level, the guys that I played with, I would kick it with them outside of practice or the games. A lot of these guys, I met their family, their mom, their kids, and it was just seeing, we're all different, but yet we still had that same passion, and we're able to, to voice it together. I had some good years playing semi-pro, but I also met a lot of guys that are still, to this day, close friends. Some were even brothers. Yeah. So it's just amazing what a sport that's just physical, people think football, okay, big dumb guys running around.
It's a team sport.
Yeah. And for us, we had to watch film. A lot of people don't know what goes behind the scenes. They just see, okay, you guys are hitting each other, you guys are getting concussions, you guys can't talk right, whatever. But a lot of work went into it. Going into the gym, preparing for games, watching film, studying the person you got to guard. And it came down to where, when it came to game day, you're able to control somebody by just little movements.
Yeah.
You know, putting a hand on the shoulder. Most receivers didn't like the fact that I was real physical when I came up to press. So it was just, again, being able to do something that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah. So sounds like football and music, you know, playing the violin were both very. Sounds like they were outlets
Yeah.
for you. And we talked about this, you know, a little earlier. And I'm gonna double back a little bit because we went down the music route a little bit. But you also mentioned a little bit about how your real dad, you know, wasn't with you
Yeah.
for a long time. So tell me a little bit about that. What's his name? Where he comes from, and how did that affect you?
His name is Ricky. He's from South Carolina. It affected me a lot because for me, it's like, what did I do wrong for my dad not want to be around?
Mm-hmm.
I grew up a lot as a kid, so I kind of didn't have a lot of confidence in myself. And there's a lot of stuff that I went through at home that I was like, I wish my dad was here. And I would literally sometimes have conversations with myself saying, okay, my dad might say this. Because for me, I never heard good job a lot. So to me, it was just like, I just want my dad to say that.
Yeah.
Call and just do that. It was very challenging, especially when I would.
And how would that affect you when you know, you say that now at your age, but how did that affect you growing up, not hearing those things or not getting that?
It made it tough, honestly, to have any type of relationship. You know, I got friends and had close friends, but like the intimate relationship with a girlfriend, I always had that trouble communicating, hey, this is what's going on, hey, I need help with this.
What do you mean by that?
It not having that intimate connection with my dad made it hard to show love. Because like for me, what I said, you know, going home growing up was kind of tough. I didn't have that love that I needed to be able to express that to somebody else. So it was very difficult growing up as a kid. I got picked on, so it made it even worse.
Yeah, picked on?
Oh yeah.
So when you say picked on, what would people do or?
Get shoved in lockers, get attempted to get swirlies, but I would always open up my arms.
Wasn't gonna let that happen.
No, not to me, no. Especially not no dirty toilet. No, I'm good.
Dirty toilet?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah. And then getting powerbomb on my head, who is now one of my closest friends.
Powerbomb on your head?
Yeah. Because
When
how
did this
small
happen?
it was. This was second grade. When I first moved here, started school, met my friend Jared through that incident. You know, he picked me up, turned me upside down, dropped me on my head on the playground. We both went to the office. He looked at me, he goes, I'm sorry. I looked at him and I said, it's okay. He goes, you want to be my friend? I'm like, yeah. Ever since then, you know, me and him, we had our little troubles in elementary school. But, you know, that was one of the guys that stood up for me. Anybody, he goes, if anybody's going to beat him up, it's going to be me. And he would step up and fight pretty much any battle that he knew, and I knew that I couldn't win. So, even though childhood was rough, I did have those friends that stepped up in the places that I needed them. So,
that's awesome. And now let's start taking some steps forward. Let's start relating some of this to where we're at today. So, you know, you talked about how you play violin and you're super passionate about that, and you sound like you had some pretty good success with that growing up.
Yeah.
You put quite a bit of money towards that. You said $40,000 to $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
How did that even?
What it was, you filled out an application for the Pratt Foundation, and then they pretty much did kind of like an interview with you one-on-one. And they saw something with the music, with the violin, and they took off with it. They always pushed me every.
So what was your peak? Like what was your peak that you would say for your musical career thus far? Because it sounds like you don't play nearly as much anymore.
Yeah, no.
But what was your peak at that? Growing up.
By the time I was in junior high, I had enough experience and skill at the violin to be able to be in the Illinois Symphony.
Wow.
I got asked to do it, but I kind of got scared about it.
Okay.
Because I was the only kid there. I would have been the first kid under 18 that would have been.
Why didn't you do it?
I let the fact that it was adults intimidate me. And my
intimidate you? So
oh yeah.
What do you mean?
Like I said, you know, being picked on, it made it kind of hard to kind of be confident in the talents that I had. You know, I was always second guessing down to myself.
Where do you think that? So you think it comes from your being picked on?
Being picked on, and then how I grew up, you know, with my stepdad, who now me and him are very close.
Mm-hmm.
But growing up, you know, it was challenging with him.
Mm-hmm.
But it literally kind of just kept me inside. I was afraid to open up my wings and just let out and, you know, just be who I was. Because I was always afraid of being yelled at for anything.
Yeah.
Laughing too much. Why are you always smiling? Well, okay, why are you doing this? And it felt like I couldn't be happy for anything. So it literally, I would go home, just stay in my room. it was kind of hard to enjoy things because you're
Mm.
always looking over your shoulder. Am I going to get in trouble for this? But it, it was challenging.
So enjoy things, and you said you were always looking around over your shoulder,
Yeah.
and you just weren't confident to kind of let loose almost. It
Yeah.
sounds like. And now we're pushing along a little bit. You got into football,
Yeah.
and you enjoyed that a lot. And you talked about the brotherhood and how you enjoyed the team aspect of that.
Yeah.
Now, how do those things relate to what you do today? And we still have some things to talk about.
Yeah.
Because we haven't talked about what happened, how things have been since you got out of high school. But how do those two things relate to what you're trying to do now in terms of being a trainer, and then Sunday opening up your own gym?
Yeah. It deals with everything because if you can be passionate about the things that you love and you can't express it right,
Mm-hmm.
everything's gonna be felt forced. And that's one thing that I was grateful for with music and football. I was able to learn how people operated.
Yeah.
With football, we have to study how people run. Receivers, if the guy you're guarding, what's his favorite route? How does he
Okay.
show it what he's about to run? It came down to just like little things. If he's looking where he's going to be running at. Now with the personal training, it's able to see, especially if you're working with somebody for the first time, don't know anything about them, you're able to help them adjust. And then while you're building that relationship with them, you're able to see how much transformation that actually comes from that. And that's one thing that I find, to me, it's amazing. Because especially when you see that client's face, okay, I just bench press how much?
Mm-hmm.
And you told me I was going to do this about a couple weeks ago. I'm like, yeah, I tell you guys, and I tell all clients, I see things in you that you don't know yet.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when they finally start clicking and seeing, okay, maybe he is right. Maybe I am this person that I haven't seen myself to be.
It sounds like you get a lot of those things from your parents, or
Yeah.
it's more, I think more specific. I can't say it
Specifically,
specifically
yeah.
your mom, right?
Yeah.
So now we're moving forward a little bit. You got out of high school,
Yeah.
and it sounds like you didn't continue playing violin out of high school, or continue with that. What happened there?
With the whole violin thing, growing up, I was pretty much forced to practice.
Okay.
I loved it, but how my stepdad was, he was strict about it.
Mhm.
I said, okay, I'm 18. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do, so I
Okay.
just stopped playing. But I always got questioned, from people that knew me growing up, why'd you stop? Are you still playing? But after high school, I went over to Quincy University, got involved in partying, so that didn't last long. Played
Okay.
football over there, that didn't last long either. Came back home.
You went to Quincy?
Yeah.
And what year was this?
2006.
Okay. What year did you graduate high school?
06.
06?
2006,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm kind of old. But I mean,
Kind of old, yeah.
kind of old.
I was a freshman in 2006. So,
Yeah. But I went to Quincy to double major in chemistry and music.
Mm.
And people was like, okay, you play football and you want to do chemistry and what?
Mhm.
Like, football players don't do that. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, you're not limited
Right.
to what you want to do.
And do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Wow. And you said that didn't last very long. What happened? You said you got into partying.
Got into
a little
partying. I also had a high school sweetheart. So I kept coming
bit?
back.
High school sweetheart. What was her name?
Her name is Christine.
And how did you meet?
We met at high school. It was my sophomore year. We're waiting. I believe it was right before school started. And I just remember seeing this girl come up with some white shoes on, jeans, and a pink hoodie.
Mm.
And she had braces at the time. I'm like, she's hot. Like,
Mm.
that's what I want. We hung out a lot, started talking, started dating, went on and off. Ended up having a kid after high school together.
Oh, okay.
But it was cool. I'd seen the stuff on TV, didn't really believe it.
Mm.
And then that happened to me, so I was just like, all right.
Seen what on TV? What do you mean?
The high school girls, guys dating and all that. And the guy looks at the girl, he's like all drooling and all that. I was like, no, that can't be real. Because for me, that's like love. I'm like, no, that's.
So that was you. You were sitting in school one day and you were drooling on the
Drool
Mm.
everywhere. Had caution wet floor sign behind me, but I mean, it was when I saw her, I'm like, yeah, she's the one.
Okay.
So, but yeah,
So
went off to college.
you went out to college. It
Yeah.
sounds like you both were still together.
Yeah.
And you got into partying. So tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about that. And you said you didn't last very long. What happened there?
Some stuff had happened at the house with the family.
What things? What stuff?
Found out my sister had been molested for a couple years.
Been molested?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So.
That was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to face in life.
Okay.
Knowing that you're the big brother and you couldn't protect your sister from that, and the fact that it happened for years. For me, going through high school, it happened my senior year when we found out about it. So when I went off to college, I literally was just getting mad and going out and getting drunk. resorted to alcohol, pot, pills, just to try to numb it.
So
Because
how did you react whenever you found out?
I was very, very angry. Came into the house, told me he needed to get out. Told him if he didn't get out, I was gonna kill him. And it was my stepdad. So with that, it was just like the one person that I trust, this family member. You're able to do that, and to me, that kind of turned me kind of cold-hearted. Because I'm thinking, if I can't trust a family member, I can't trust anybody else.
Yeah.
So that pretty much led to just a couple years of just a dark path. Pretty much, I lost who I was, dropped out of school, came here, went back to enrolled in college, dropped out again, rather party and go to work. I would literally start drinking at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon all the way to like 2:30 in the morning, and just repeat it every day. And it got to the point to where I lost a relationship with my son's mom, ended up getting in legal trouble because of it, and that's when I had my door of opportunity to actually discover what this addiction or this disease was that people know, like, you're an alcoholic, you have this anger issues and this and that, and not really being educated. But then when I got in trouble, I had a chance to learn about myself, why I acted a certain way. And a lot of it came down to it. I mean, it's just generational stuff. You know, I've later on found out my real father, he was an alcoholic, he had the same issues, and it branched down to throughout our whole family, even on my stepdad's
So
side.
you said your real father had issues. What kind of issues did he have?
Him and my dad were pretty much almost the same. You know, they both like to drink. For me, I grew up, that looked normal. Every day, come home and get a drink. That was typical day.
Yeah.
But it was just very hard, because here you have a father that's not there, same issues, and then you have a father at home, same issues. And it's just like, okay, if this one dad and this is another dad, that's how I'm going to grow up. Yeah. And that kind of held me down a lot, because I limited myself, because I'm thinking in my head, why even try to do anything better, because I'm going to end up like either or. So that, it was really hard, especially having relationships. That was the hardest thing, I think, that got affected by all the drinking and all that, because I wasn't able to be the real me.
They said you drink quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
And you said you had a child with Christine. What's their name?
His name is Jeremiah Pippins.
Jeremiah Pippins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man child.
And how old is he now?
He is 7.
7. Wow.
And with that, the court battle, I ended up losing rights to see him.
So before we get to any of that,
Yeah.
what happened? Why? So you say lose rights, and what does that all mean?
It happened because it slowly got to that point. I had told his mom, like, hey, something's going on, and I knew something was happening. I couldn't pinpoint what it was. I felt dark. I felt like I'm losing myself. And then after that, that's when I noticed things started to get worse. I started drinking a lot more. I would literally just go and get high all day. And it would literally, I would keep a job for about 2-3 weeks and quit. Keep another job, keep it for maybe 2 months and quit. So I never really found my niche until I got in trouble. And to me, I say it's a blessing in disguise. Other people are like, oh man, you lost all this and that. And it was just, I lost the old me.
What was that like? I mean, so tell me a little bit about that. I mean, you at that point, because I didn't know you back then.
Yeah.
So tell me, you said you had a hard time keeping jobs, and
Yeah.
you were constantly drinking and smoking and doing all sorts of things that you knew you shouldn't be doing, and you even said it yourself.
Yeah.
So what were you like back then?
I was an a-hole, pretty
Okay.
much, summing up. Didn't care about anybody else. Didn't want to help anybody else if it wasn't convenient for me, if I wasn't getting something back. And I literally, I just went numb. I was literally just like a zombie walking around. I had no feelings, no emotions, but when it came down to it, I would express anger just like that. That was my go-to emotion.
So give me some examples.
Dude, I would flip out. When the whole thing happened between me and my son's mom.
Yeah, what happened there? I mean, you don't just go to court for
Yeah.
nothing. I mean, things had to have happened or transpired or even been building up to that. So what was going on at that point?
She understood what I had told her, but she didn't know how to help. And I just told her, if anything, I want you to get our son. I want you to get away from me. If it starts, it gets worse. And
had you been showing some things after this point? I mean, what?
It was just being verbally just malicious towards her, talking her down, breaking her down. and it was because I wasn't secure about myself. I hated myself. So her being the closest person that was to me would get it out on her. And then one night she came over, we shared a car, and she says, hey, I'm taking the car. She goes, but you're not going to be able to see your son right now. For me, I flipped out. And
what happened?
She went to go put the car in reverse, and I put my foot right behind the tire and said, you're not moving until we talk about me seeing my son. And she went in reverse and parked it right on my foot. And next thing you know, I just remember blacking out. Next thing I know, my mom's yelling and grabbing me, telling me to put the car down and come inside.
Put the car down?
Put
so
the car down.
What do you mean?
My mom had said the minute that the car went on my foot, I literally just went. She said, the way she said it, she's like, you just turned into a demon. I broke the windshield with my hand, pounded on it a couple times, and then when I lifted the car to get the car off my foot, how much adrenaline was rushing through, she was literally looking at the concrete on her side. So I had the car up on 2 wheels.
You had it like on its side?
Not completely on the side.
What kind of car was this?
It's a Nissan Maxima.
How heavy are those cars?
That's about a good 5,000, 6,000 pounds.
Okay.
And with the emotion I felt, me being told you're not going to be able to see your kid, to me,
And how did that make you feel?
it brought me back to childhood because I didn't see my dad. And I knew how that made me feel, what the struggles were, and I just flipped out. In the end, I now see it was me trying to protect my kid, but I did it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
After that happened, she drove home, I don't know how, with the windshield, and I'm inside, I'm shaking because the adrenaline had started to wear off. I didn't even know my hand was bleeding. I hear a knock at the door, it's the cops. They come in, ask for a statement, and I don't know what happened. I don't remember. And they showed me a picture of the windshield, and I just lost it because that's the person that I love, that I wanted to protect, and yet I damn near almost did something stupid. To me, that hit a lot.
When was this? How long? So.
That was in 2012, I believe.
So this is. So your son was around at this point. You said that you wasn't gonna have. You weren't able to see him anymore. How old was he at this point?
I think he was 2.5, almost 3.
What was he like? What was he like around that time?
Man, that was my man, my little man. We would take naps. We did everything together. Ate. I mean, we'd get in fights with each other because I'd pick off his plate, he'd pick off mine. But that was my little mini-me.
Yeah.
I mean, we did a lot of stuff together. It was just, again, having that bond with a child. It was a feeling that I've been looking for. That I wanted.
So what do you mean by that feeling that you've been looking for?
Love.
What does that mean?
Feel loved. Because anytime I came in the house, daddy, drooling, wet kisses and all that. And to me, that, what I was going through, all that kind of temporarily went away when I was around them.
Yeah.
So being around them every day, I literally had him. She would go to work. Again, I couldn't keep a job, but I would, keep him every day. And it was just amazing because you have that connection with a child. You can see that connection that nobody can see, but it's just, I don't have to say anything. He already knows. So.
Well, and so obviously it sounds like afterwards you had some court battles, and tell me a little bit about that. What happened there, and where are we at now?
That was the toughest period of my life. Because like I said, I lost myself. I'm trying to discover who I am, what am I good at. Pretty much because I was just having labels thrown at me. Okay, you're an alcoholic. You're anger person. You do this, you do that, and I'm just like, okay, can nobody tell me I'm something good? So when I got into court, the judge, which kind of helped me turn the new chapter, he looked at me and goes, this is not you. He goes, I see somebody greater than what you're doing on this sheet of paper. He goes, I want you to come back in a couple months. I want you to have a different mindset. And with the classes that they recommended me to take, or required for me to take, I went in and said, okay, I'm just going to take these classes and get it done with so I can get whatever I need.
What kind of classes were they?
Anger management, drug and alcohol classes, and then I had to go to Chestnut, which is for drug and alcohol treatment.
Okay.
But within those classes, I've learned a lot. Yes, I can have anger, but anger can also be used as a good way to.
Yeah. So and that's my next question: is what were some things that you learned in that class? It sounds like those 2 months were pretty crucial for you.
Yeah.
Since you talked about them, so what did you learn during that time?
That is not our fault. A lot of stuff that we have, like the issues that we have, you can't look at it as a negative, because then you just start beating yourself down, and that was my problem growing up. And with the classes, I was able to get educated on how to counteract those negative thoughts that would always come up, how to see physical signs if I'm about to get upset. Those are things that.
So give me some examples. Like what do you? Because I've never been a part of anything like this, so I'm curious now. So what are some examples or some things that signs or things that you should be looking for, or how to do that? How to do those things?
For me, Food.
Food?
If
Okay,
I
so
would,
what do you mean?
if I haven't ate, that is like the worst time for me to
You
be
get cranky.
upset. Yeah, because it literally just goes off. But like the physical signs for me would be feeling, you know, veins sticking out, forehead, palms getting sweaty. My first sign is my body heat going up
Okay.
because I literally start boiling. Then once
So what do you do when you see those things happen?
take a deep breath and just relax. But with the classes, we were taught to figure out what the problem is, what's triggering it, and see if this is something you can be around.
Yeah.
It was certain people I couldn't be around anymore because it was just certain things that we used to do that would trigger those moments. And
So what do you mean by that? Certain things?
Drinking.
Drinking.
That I couldn't do it to the level I was doing it every day, all night, because it was literally just tearing me up from the inside out. I was literally running away from problems, trying to go through it through a bottle, and that, to me, I just felt like I couldn't solve anything, which made me even more angry. But when I had these classes, I was given tools to help better myself and then help others as well.
Right.
To me, it's a blessing in disguise. Yeah, it hurt and it sucked, but I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't take it back because of things that I learned. It sucks now because right now I still haven't seen my son in about 3 years, and it's that constant
Haven't seen
reminder.
him in 3 years.
Yeah.
So what was the ruling that?
I was deemed labeled an unfit parent because of what I went through.
You haven't been able to see your child you haven't been able to see Jeremiah for 3 years?
Yeah.
And how has that been?
That's rough every day. But, you know, growing up with my mom, she always says, you know, always keep doing what you need to do so that way in the end it pays off. And right now, you know, I'm pretty much doing this personal training because I know my son will one day see it and say, okay, my dad is not what he was labeled as, and I want him to do better. And that's, for me, I've always had a passion to help others. And for me, I know my son, he's going to do the same thing, and I want him to do even better. And that's the thing, you know, you got to keep going, setting examples for him, even though he's not.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So.
So a lot of the things that you do with personal training comes back to, you know, well, obviously from your passion for helping people from your mom, but, you know, one of the main reasons that you do that is for Jeremiah, because you want him to see the good things that you're doing now.
I also, the ultimate thing is I want him to understand that you're going to have flaws, but that doesn't make you somebody that, like, an evil person. You, even through those flaws, if you do it right and pray to God, because that's what I used to do when I would say prayers, you can't, it's not something bad, it's something where you can actually gain the strength from. Because if you know your weakness, work on it.
Right. So what are some things that you have to, so is it safe to say that you've turned some of your weaknesses that you perceived as into more of a strength?
Yeah.
So tell me some examples of that.
I was very shy and did not like expressing myself, opening up. With everything that I went through with court, I've learned that I do need to express myself because people aren't be able to help me if I need the help if I'm not saying anything. And it's just, again, like, I find everything I went through just a blessing. And it's just, like I said, I wouldn't take it back. And it's just, you know, not being afraid to express how I feel was my major thing growing up. And that was the main thing that kind of led me down that dark path because I just got so angry that I couldn't do it. You know, now having those tools to be able to do that on a daily basis and still be like it's brand new,
Wow.
I think that's what's cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, and this isn't necessarily anything, you know, let's talk about the next time you see Jeremiah, because, I mean, he's going to be alive for a long time. There's no way you're not going to be, you're going to be held back from seeing him. At some point, you're going to be able to see him.
Yeah.
Right? So, what are some things what's the first thing that's going to go through your mind? What's the first thing that you're going to say to him whenever you see him?
I'm going to cry and tell him I love him. Just repeat it over and over, hold him tight, because, you know, that's my child. And I don't feel any parent should ever have that type of pain inflicted on because of what they went through and not knowing what the actual problem was. But, you know, that's just keep doing what any parent should do. You know, just because I missed so many years doesn't mean, oh, I got to start over and do it. No, just pick up where you left off. And to me, you know, it's just being a father. You know, that's what's in my DNA, that's in my blood, and that's what I want to do.
And what would that mean for you?
It'll mean the world to me. To be able to see him, you know, it would be good.
Yeah.
Because like I said, every day it hurts, but you got to keep going. But, you know, I always wake up, it hurts, but you wake up and keep going. Because I don't want him, when he gets of age, when he goes through his issues, to stop. I don't want him to go where I want. I don't want him feeling negative about himself. I don't want him thinking negative about anybody else. I want him to understand that, yes, I'm going to have these bad things, but that doesn't mean I have to be that person.
Yeah.
Because that's the main thing that stuck with me. I got labeled as unfit parent and all this other stuff, and that literally, people understand words can mess with somebody like that. So when you hear that growing up and then hear it from a judge that is telling you, hey, you need to go get help, you know, I just want my son to know, hey, just be brave. Every day, just take it day by day. Don't stress, and treat his mom with respect. That is my major thing, you know, just treat everybody with respect, because you never know when you're going to need that uplifting moment from somebody. It could be a stranger, so.
Wow, man, that's some pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do right now is imagine Jeremiah sitting right here. What would you say to him? I know you've already said some things that you would say, but if you were sitting right there, I know you said you would tell him you love him. What would you tell him right now?
Do what you love doing, and don't let nobody stop you, not even mom or dad.
Awesome.
Because that, to me, that's how we discover ourselves. When you follow the things that you love, that you're passionate about, you figure out more stuff about yourself. You might find some more flaws that you can work on to better yourself, and it's just, don't ever quit. Don't ever, no matter what, don't ever, excuse my language, fucking quit, ever.
Hey man, this isn't, there's nothing censored about this Q&A show, so you can let it all out. So now let's take a step forward. You know, you told me your entire story, and you know, you got some pretty deep things here. I mean, you've been through some crazy stuff, it sounds like, and I feel like we can sit here and talk all day. You said you're a trainer now, and you have the aspirations to own your gym someday, right? So tell me about that. You know, what do you mean by that, and you know, what are we looking to accomplish with that?
If anything, I would love to have a gym back at home at San Diego, but it's pretty much just giving back.
And why isn't it so important for you to always give back and do things like, you know, it sounds like your mom did, and why is it important for you to help people and give back in that sense?
Because when I got into all that legal trouble before that, you know, I felt like I just took everything that I could from everybody and anybody. Didn't treat people with respect, and you know, I feel like I can never repay that. So that's, for me, that's why I want to have the opportunity and the blessing to be able to help people like that, because having that experience, I know what people are going through, and that shit sucks. Because it feels like you don't have an outlet, you don't have anybody to go to, but it's just we're not educated on those certain issues, and that's what I want to be able to do, is educate people and letting them know you don't have this type of disease. You know, it's something that you can work through.
And how would owning a gym, and you said at the beginning, you talked about how you wanted to help people who have alcoholic issues. And how would owning a gym help out people out in that sense? I mean, how does that all tie in?
It changes your lifestyle. I mean, because you can go in there and just lift weights, but if you're not doing the dieting, you know, everything else that goes with it, I mean, it's literally, for me, it's what kept me out of jail.
So you feel like health and fitness is a great way to get out of the issues of like alcoholism and things like that.
It helps with depression. I had that. It helps with anger. I mean, the gym literally helps with everything. And I tell people, and I even tell my clients, if you can manage your life, this workout won't do anything to you. Like, you've been through tougher. I always tell clients when they start getting tired, you've been through tougher. And since we know them a lot, you know, I'll pull up certain incidents. And it's just like, you went through this, and you're going to tell me you can't give me 5 more? Come on, let's get it. And that's one thing, you know, through everything that kind of stuck through with me, it's like, no matter what you've been through, life is always going to be hard. So why quit? Because you quit, life's still going to come down on you.
Absolutely.
So
that's crazy, dude. Well, I don't know if I necessarily have any more questions about anything. Before we get out of here, I'm gonna leave you with I'm gonna give you the floor, and you can, you know, anything that you'd like to say right now. Is there anything else that you'd like to add in to everything that you've already told us?
People ask me how was I able to turn over and become somebody different? It's because of God. For me, if it wasn't for Him, I wouldn't be here in this situation. I wouldn't be alive, and I wouldn't have went through the things I went through, and came out the way I did. And it's just it's amazing to see. Even when I thought my bad times, He was still there taking care of me, you know, guiding me through. And that's the thing that I find amazing about Him. We don't have to ask, and He does it. So it's for those that do
bad
pray.
Things can lead to good things.
And blessings come in disguises. So don't ever get discouraged when something bad happens to you. There's always something.
Renewed faith.
And for me, that it helped out a lot, especially with this job, because I'm able to help people. And they don't understand that I have faith in them because of what I've been through.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I'm kind of speechless. I honestly don't even know what to say right now, other than to start wrapping this up a little bit.
Yeah.
I really hope the people that I hope the right people reach this, because I feel like your story is something that, man, I mean, you have some crazy crazy things go on. I know there are a lot of people out there that can relate to the alcoholism issues that you had, and especially with the parent relationship that you've had, and also the son, not being able to see your son for a while. There's a lot of people out there that are going through and have gone through similar situations. So really hope that reaches hope that reaches the right people. Outside of that, let's go ahead and wrap this up a little bit. So the people that are watching this, how can they reach you?
You can reach me on Facebook. Ramone Pippins is not the profile with the little kid on it. That's me still. I forgot the password, so I can't use that one. On Facebook, and then on Instagram is RP_4/4 fitness.
RP_4
quarter fitness. Yeah.
And that's what you spell out for, or do you, is it?
No, it's the number 4,
Okay.
4th quarter, and then fitness.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if you have any more questions, anything that you want to know from him, reach out to him. Let him know that you heard this, because the impact and him having the ability to share this story is awesome nowadays. So outside that, you should know me by now if you watched the last couple episodes. I'm Curtis Robinson. My Instagram is coachkurt.fit, and outside of that, we're out of here.